In this tutorial, we'll review how you can use the Canvas Commons to locate Valencia resources to use in your course. From the Valencia College webpage, you can get to Canvas by going to Quick Links and selecting Canvas. You'll sign in with your Atlas username and password, and you'll locate the Canvas Commons icon on the left-hand navigational global menu. And so select Commons, and you'll be prompted to authorize this tool. It's just Canvas asking if you want to integrate your account with this tool. So it's not going to automatically share your content on the Commons. You'll still have to give permission for that. But this authorization is just you saying you want to use this tool. From the Canvas Commons page, you'll be able to locate content based on the content type. As you'll see here, you can locate content by entire course, or it may be just a particular module, or a particular assignment, quiz, discussion, or page. You can also locate documents, videos, audio, and images as well. You can search by keyword, again by type, by grade level, and you can check off the box there, or you can also filter by most relevant, latest, or highest rated. This green check mark also offers the opportunity for you to turn off public resources, and this will just show the content that's been generated here at Valencia. So when I turn that off, I can see content that is Valencia related. Right off the bat, I can see some library modules. The library modules kind of have this template here with the title at the top. And this one is if you use APA style in writing and you want the students to become familiarized with that, there's a crash course in APA and a crash course in MLA. You could import those into your course. If you're teaching NSE online, there's an online template here. Here's some more library ones. Defining plagiarism. So if you want to have an assignment in your class that has to cover plagiarism, you want your students to know what that is, you can import that into your class as well. There's how to spot fake news for Valencia. This is great when you're having your students do research and you want them to be able to cite reputable sources so they know what is a good resource and what may not be as solid. And then there's an advising for meta majors and the change of major form. So you can scroll through these and locate some of these. You can also search library here, and I believe this will pull up some of those library sources all together if you wanted to see them. One of the resources that we like to share in our faculty development division is I call them starter packs, but they're course samples. So I'm just going to type in the word sample. You can download a sample syllabus here into your course, or if you want to get the whole pack, you can see that we have a unit modules pack, a weekly modules pack, or a face-to-face pack. Now that comes with this sample syllabus and this sample orientation module, but it also comes with a home page and some overview pages that you can use as well for each module. So maybe you don't want the whole starter pack, but you just want to start with the sample syllabus. You can just download this into one of your sandboxes. Or if you want the entire module for orientation, you can click that. But let's take a look at one of these full packs here. Now these are not complete course templates, but I like to call them starter packs because they get you started when you're designing a course from the beginning. We have two that are designed for online courses. You'll see here this is a sample course with unit modules. These are especially good if you do your units not based on a week-by-week basis, but more on a thematic basis. So maybe you're covering a unit from your textbook and it will span a couple weeks, but that will be one module. So that might be the one that you might consider. Then we also have one that's divided into weeks. So for those of you who like to have modules for week 1 and different module for week 2, that one might be for you. So let's click on the weekly module. The other one here is strictly face-to-face, so that web-enhanced sort of template. So if you're teaching a face-to-face class but you want to use the modules function in Canvas for them to submit their homework in, that might be for you. But let's go to the online course template starter pack. From here, you'll see a little description of what all is in here. You can preview it by highlighting this link here and selecting copy, and open a new tab and paste it. And from here, you'll see something similar to this. I can see some of the grayed out portions. You'll probably just see the syllabus modules and the settings. But you'll get a home page here that you could use to as a template. You can replace this image with a banner that is more relevant for your discipline if you'd like. You could put a welcome message here, and there's buttons that can take them to some of the major areas of your course. There's a syllabus template. We saw that on the Commons page. But if you import this into one of your sandboxes, this syllabus page will overwrite anything that's already in that Canvas sandbox. So be careful. If you already have something on your syllabus page and you want to bring this in, this will overwrite it and you won't be able to reverse that. So think about that before you import. But this page gives you kind of all of the main areas that you would typically need for a syllabus, and you can begin filling out each section. And then you have some college policies that we already just put in there because you don't really need to change any of that. It's just there for you. So, and then when you get back to course policies, that's content that you're going to want to update, such as your grading policy and how the classroom policy is going to work and how communication is going to work, etc. The modules page of this sample will include course resources, so how to build your course in Canvas. This is information strictly for you, so you can unpublish this when you import it into your course. And then you also have the orientation module, which includes a lot of different pages that are just good for you to include as the students are going to review the content for your course. So let's just take a look at the Start Here module. There's a welcome to, and then the name of the course, and you can include a welcome message to your students, introduce yourself. So you'll want to delete all this text here. It's just giving you prompts of what you should include on this page. You might want to leave this though, how to complete the course orientation. But you'll also see throughout this template that there is this foreign language here. This text is just filler text, so you obviously want to make sure that you review these pages carefully and delete this and fill it with information that you want. And then the student will navigate to the next page in the orientation module by hitting next. And then there's a Meet Your Instructor page. This will allow you to have that welcome message to your students so they can learn a little bit more about you. So let's go back and take a look at the modules. So we have this orientation module. We also include an example of what one weekly module might look like. At the top you have the week 1. You can edit this title here and include the dates, and you could add the topic of what you're covering that week. There's an overview page, which is what you'll want to keep, and then it's broken into these sub areas here. So you could include resources, activities, and these could be graded activities or ungraded activities. So the overview page, when you click on it, it includes the overview of the week, what are the learning outcomes for that week, and what is the student supposed to be doing with the task list. This is really important because it aligns with something that you might hear people talk about called the ROC, which stands for the Rubric for Online Competencies. And one of the important components of that is alignment, and alignment with your weekly outcomes or your module level outcomes, and that those align with the course level outcomes. So putting it in the overview page allows you to demonstrate how your course is going to be aligned, and it gives the students clear expectations of what they're going to be doing that week. So now week 1 will have content that's just like sample resources and sample discussions. So these you'll want to remove if you do import it into your class. And then week 2, we assume that you get the idea and you can just begin importing the overview template page. The summary page is pretty much blank. So if you want to give a wrap-up page of content that you want to just summarize for your students, that's where you would do that. So let's say you've reviewed this and you think, yeah, this might be a helpful resource. I'd like to import it into one of my sandboxes. I would recommend you to go ahead and do that. So we would go back to that Commons page where we were looking at it from here. All of the faculty, when they begin, will have 5 sandboxes to choose from. And if you ever need more, you can always request more courses. In our WP 101 class, we're including the link of where you would go to request additional sandboxes. So we would choose a sandbox to send this to. So I would, let's say I wanted to send it to this sandbox, I would just select import into course. And then when I go access that course from the dashboard or from my courses area, I can track the progress of the import by going to the course. And I would want to go to settings. And then from settings on the import course content page, and you should see a line here that says current jobs, and it will probably be loading. You want it to say completed, and you want it to be green. If it's yellow and it says with issues, you'll want to click on what those issues were and see what they were. But that will let you know if you've imported your starter pack correctly. If you have any additional questions about importing the course starter packs or library materials or anything else from the Canvas Commons, feel free to reach out to your facilitator of this course, or you can reach out to us in faculty development at the Center for Teaching and Learning Innovation. You can reach your Winter Park location in room 126, or you can call at 407-582-6919.